stopped smoking about 30 years of age, I think. He used to fiddle around with the pipe, you know, sort of the image, you know, in those days, a young man with a pipe. When was he born? You know, 1926. I believe it was 1928, it was 1926 and I was 1931. That puts 3 years and a half between me and Eva, because she was born in May and I'm September Papa. So she's 3.5 years older than me, so she's now 86. And next May she'll be 87.
88.
Eh?
88. She said. Well, she said she was 87 when we went there.
Go on. I'm coming up to 84. That's correct. Yes, that's correct. Got me one from him. I don't know. Yeah, what happened so little? What is it? Getting and spending, we lay waste our powers.
Child.
You know what?
Leaves during the autumn.
That's right, we used to go in the woodland and we used to clear the chestnut leaves and all thick on the ground. We'd clear them away and make a boat. We used to pretend getting there. We were very young then. I mean, I couldn't have been more than 3 or 4. I mean, Vic was still young enough to fool around like that. Later on, we were more sophisticated. We used to light bonfires, make camps, and go up the trees and make a tree house and things like that. And then, when Vic was convalescing during the war, we made bows and arrows to try and shoot them over a large tree. Eventually we did, go right up enormously high, these enormous large trees, shot the arrow up, and sort of hovered, came down the other side. We've achieved it. Yeah, things like that I remember. Happy days.
Were you very close to him?
Big, but it was 5 years, and of course,
Yeah.
when he was 17, I was only 12, you know. So he was then beginning to chercher la femme and all that, so he was getting vain about his appearance and his clothes. I used to sit there and make fun of him, and he didn't like it. Well, I didn't understand. He was going out, he'd go to dances and all that sort of thing. I was much better to play bows and arrows and fiddle around. But, of course, he was a young man growing up a bit. Doodle, my dog, she died when she was 6. She went off with a bloody big dog. I tried to have a mate who took her up to London, and there was a man there, BBC producer, and he had a beautiful wire-haired terrier thoroughbred called Tatters. Put the two of them, mine was female, put them together hoping they'd mate. She snarled at him, she wouldn't have anything to do with him. And it's a known thing with wire-haired terriers, he was a young dog, and they're very slow in growing up, you know. And he didn't know what to do, so she wasn't going to have him anymore. And then I was at the School of Architecture in Hastings. I started off there, and I came home and I hadn't done I'd been out having a good time during the day and I hadn't done any work. And on Mondays we had to do a sketch design, so I started about 8 o'clock in the evening, do this, and I had to submit it the following morning. And I was working, it was about 11:30 at night, and I go. So I opened the door, and off you go. And I carried on working. About 15 minutes later, there hadn't been a scratch on the door. It was dark, it was pitch dark. Christ, the dogs went outside, called it, no dog. Well, we went down the woodland. And I ran right down, calling out all over the place. Eventually, she came back. And I hit right down, tail down, covered in mud. She'd never gone off like that before. Cleaned her up and got back to work. I was up half the night doing this bloody thing. And then I forgot about it. The next thing was the dog was pregnant. Oh my God, that's where she'd been. Turned out it was a bloody thing. The sister school, the headmaster of the school, nearby, about half a mile away, this bloody thing had come round sniffing. He'd been waiting outside, I didn't know. So she went through the pregnancy and the vet, she was ill, and took it to the vet. My father took it. And the vet said, she's only got one puppy in, but it's too big, she can't get it out. And instead of giving her a cesarean, which is what he should have done, he left the dog for the night. Dead the following morning. God, devastating. One big, he took it out after she had an autopsy. One big puppy.
You saw it?
No, I didn't. He told my father. And I knew and my father knew that that man had just left the dog to die during the night. He never sent a bill. Vet, the murderer. You can do about it, the vet. He should have done a cesarean, carried out. He probably didn't know how. Should have carried
How
out.
old was the dog? Did you have it when it was a
About 6
puppy?
years. Yeah, I had it when she was about 8 weeks.
And how old were you when you got the dog? Do you remember
About
that?
11. About
Okay.
11 years old.
So it was at the start of the war?
No, it was about 1943 or 1944, towards the second half of the war.
You got the dog?
And it was called Doodle. Yeah, it was the time of the Doodle bugs. Nearly 90, just before 90, the end of 1943, if you like. That's why she was called Doodle, because of the Doodle bugs. Yeah, it was the time of the Doodle bugs, so we called her Doodle. Good name for a dog. And she had a short life, a happy one, but a short one. The bloody thing, it was a brown, a nasty sort of pug face, sort of pointed ears, a weird sort of mongrel, dirty old thing with big balls. I could have kicked it up the backside. Every time I saw that dog afterwards, I felt sick. Sister was the headmaster. She was a very nice woman. She had a nasty animal. Well, there was a woman, Mrs. Gray, whose husband was an engineer for Guinness, and she was a friend of a neighbour who was a friend of my mother. So my mother met her and they liked each other, and they were very friendly during the war.
Mm.
And I had just learned to ride a bicycle, big man, it's a proper bicycle. My feet could hardly reach the pedals, but anyway. Once a week I used to cycle to Ewhurst, which is a little village about 3 miles from my home. It's where Mrs. Gray lived with her husband. Her dog was called Patch. lovely wire-haired terrier. She had 4 puppies, and I was able to. I couldn't have a male because the parent, the father, the sire of the puppies, has the first choice male. That's the tradition. Finds the dog, he gets the puppy. And she had 3 female dogs left. It was 1 male and 3 females. And she allowed me to choose. Now, the runt of the litter, one that was the outside that usually got kicked aside by the others, was Doodle. But she was the one that came out of the basket into the garden, sort of flopping around like that. I loved that. That was the go-getter, the one that came out first. And she was the curious thing, and took a shine to me. So I said, oh, that one's. Mrs. Gray said, well, it's the smallest one. I said, yeah, I want that one. Got spirit. So she said, well, you'll have to pay for it. 10 shillings, that's half a pound, 50 pence, out of my pocket money, which I gladly did. She said to my mother, you will value the dog if he has to pay for it. If he gets it free, he won't value it. Well, I don't know whether that was right or I was over the moon when I got this dog. God, it's the biggest thing in my life.
And was Yvette jealous?
Well, Yvette will now tell you that I was spoiled because I had the dog. It isn't so. I was the one. Yvette was a young woman then, almost. She had other ideas, and she loved dogs and so on, but it wasn't the same for. So it was my dog, really. But I mean, we all enjoyed it. The dog like me, it would always go with me. You see, I would give her tidbits and take her walks and do all the things that the dog liked. So therefore, and of course I teased her mercilessly, and she used to snap at me, never bit me, but she used to go, when she'd had enough, she'd go, click, that just within a millimetre of my hand, never actually bit me. But she'd say, I've had enough now. To turn her upside down, hated that. But, when I go walking, I like that. And I'd say, you wait. She wouldn't. So I'd sneak up to the door, go to the door, close the door, then she'd go round to the window and she could see. I got all the way down into the woodland. I told my mother, when I'm in the woodland, give me a few seconds, I'll hide. I used to go down, run down in the woodland, hide behind some bushes. And then she'd open the door, this dog out like a rocket, I go straight up, and you see her come galloping, I could see her through the, come galloping down like incredible. As soon as she came away, I'd jump off the path, you see, like that. She'd screech her horse, sniff, 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 and go around in circle. Pick up the trail again, and she'd find me. As soon as she found me, she wouldn't come up to me. She'd go straight off after rabbits. I found you. She'd go off and always after rabbits. Never caught one, but she'd kill rats, but didn't kill rabbits. Couldn't get a rabbit. Used to yelp when she found one, chase it like mad, and rabbit was faster. She loved it. Wouldn't it? That's what Gary somebody do that for me, and I go.
So it died after the war?
Oh yes, it was after the war, yeah. Well, it's 6 years after.
Yeah. And it was called Doodle.
17 or something, when 17 I think.
It was called Doodle because you could hear the doodle bugs at night.
Yes, that's right.
At night. Yeah.
Just a little white dog, like any other dog, but your own dog is something special.
Did you have a cat? Ever have a cat?
Oh, when we were very small, yeah, we had a cat, a grey one. And again, she was very 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 lively cat, and she wouldn't stand for too much teasing. I used to get scratched, never badly, but just a touch, and rarely without some scratches. But I used to tease.
What was the cat called?
Kitty.
Kitty. Aw.
Not very
Is that
original.
no? Actually, you did that little booklet with the green tape that you said your mum had. Is that because of the cat?
Yeah,
Oh,
Kitty.
does that little booklet say Kitty?
Well, no, I don't think it says Kitty. I couldn't.
So your little booklet was about that cat.
Yeah, I was crazy on cats then.
Oh.
And I had a kitten, but I don't know what happened to it. It disappeared.
Didn't you get a kitten each? No.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
you
Each had
did.
one each. Then they would disappear because they'd been given away to somebody. They'd find a home, you see. Well, it couldn't keep all the bloody cats. I think I think it had 3 litters. And then when the war came, it had to be put down because we didn't have the facilities for a cat. You have the food and the veg and all that. It was a very difficult time. I think the cat was put down. Never saw it again anyway. My father would never say what happened. But I think he had it put down. I had tough decisions maybe in those days and things weren't what they seem, you don't know what it's like. Parents had a tough time with children. Rationing and starvation diets. And
Do you remember rationing?
God, do I remember? 2 ounces of sugar a week, 2 ounces of butter. Can you imagine? 2 ounces is 1/4 of that little piece of butter that we bought the other day. Cheese, you might get 1 ounce of cheese if you were lucky. Get a tin of Spam, you had points for that. 2 ounces of sweets a week. That was a joke.
And where did you go to collect this rationing and...
You go to the shop and you had to see that everybody got an equal treatment. I was lucky because I had a friend who lived in a big house and his mother got influence. She knew people and they had plenty of food there. I used to go around there to tea. We used to go in the woodland. You always had bacon. You couldn't get bacon. But enough money without points. The ration. You have one ration. Bacon a week or something like that. Stupid. And he could just go to the larder and take out several rashers of bacon. You go in the wood, a piece of stick, light a bonfire, and cook your bacon, eat it. Put a potato in there, roast the potato. You love doing that. And he had an old motor mower, a nice motor mower, a big one. He couldn't get petrol, so they had to run on paraffin. You couldn't start it. So he used to get lighter fuel, for cigarette lighter. They're selling bottles. And he used to fill up the carburettor. Could start it, because as soon as the switch on the paraffin, clouds of filthy, soapy smoke used to come out of this thing. You managed to keep it going for about a minute. And he had a gardener who used to come all red in the face, come roaring around the corner. What are you doing? You go off, you naughty lad, you get out of here. He used to get furious because he was responsible for the mower. Shouldn't have been doing it. And he used to get in his mother's car. She had a drop head little Ford. And it was sloped down next to the garage. It was an enormous house, a big garage, big garage with a remote. This thing. On those days, they had a self-start. You pull it to start the car. It wasn't a key or anything like that. You put it in reverse, pull this thing down. It would gradually, on the self-starter, and it'd stop. You'd take the handbrake off and go down. Slap on the brake. His mother would find out. He'd come out, what are you doing this with the car? It's a devil. And a nice, very nice friend. I like him a lot. We had a lot of fun. He was beaten eventually. His mother was related to Peter Scott, an actor, and to, have you heard of Gilbert and Sullivan?
Mm.